Oh, geez.
There we go.
Chosen, it's all
now we're all
coming
good
together.
All right, let me get the audio balance levels right. So let's get a real quick. Can I get
a mic check?
Yeah, mic check from Brad real fast.
Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. DM, how are you?
Okay, good. Let's go with Kire.
Yo, test 1, 2, 3.
Okay, let's go with Veld.
Okay, a little bit more. Okay.
Where's your 200K sub YouTube plaque? I think YouTube's lacking.
They don't have one. That's silver plus.
And it's first prestige.
Yeah, hold on. Wait, you're right. I need to turn the camera a little bit so we can. There it is. It's got to be within the frame, or else what's the point, right?
Okay.
All right.
See,
so I think the
I put mine
audio is
over
good.
here.
The visual is good. Everything should be looking good. Yeah.
Love it.
All right.
Love it. We got Veiled out of the hyperbolic chamber, training for season 1 over there. He's ready to.
It's the opposite. I was in a back to tank actually.
Yeah. What, dude? How sick did you get?
Well, I'm still have a lingering cough, but
you're still sick.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Oh my Lord!
I have a family, so like I passed my sickness to my son and then my wife, and then also like I have asthma, so anytime I have any sickness, it turns into a respiratory sickness. Like, and I get lightheaded, I can't breathe, I can't move at all, and it's just like, yeah, it's pretty bad over here. So.
Wait, hold on. I see. Brad has a Widowmaker background.
Oh yeah, that's my desktop background. Widow on Kings Row.
There you go. Yeah, that's Widow on something.
Yeah, that's my desktop background on my second PC.
All right, so I'm gonna hit record here, and we should pretty much be good to go. Let's do the roundabout. So it's like we start with Brad, and then go Kire, and then go Veld. You can just say who you are and what how you're enjoying the game so far, like a 20-second recap.
Okay.
All righty. Hello, I am Chosen, and just enjoying D4. Excited for season 1, and just kind of prepping for the grind. Good to be here. Thanks for having me, Darth.
And Kire.
Kire here. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? Good to be back. Glad we got this thing going again. I thought this was a lot of fun the first time. And enjoyment of the game, I would say, is very high. I think maybe it's because I only play it, 3 days a week for the most part. So, I'm a little slower to get to the complaints than other people, but I've been having a really good time.
And you have a new arm. You have a new mic arm. I
do. The second, they must have updated the PSA 1 because I got one because I wanted to get rid of the other one. The terrible Elgato one, and this one's infinitely better than the first PSA one I got. Look at this routing; it's all built in.
I was gonna say it looks like a skyscraper crane. Like it looks very heavy duty.
Yeah, well, it's just like the typical one, but it's like covered. It has a sleeve, and so I can. Okay. You can crop me to the right a bit.
And then we have last but not least, we got Veiledshot.
Game. I've been enjoying it. I really am sad about them not adding the fog transfer earlier and all that stuff between alts. So I tried to make a couple alts and I was just like, no, I'm going to go back to the rogue for a little while. So I just been blasting the rogue, testing out all the builds, having a lot of fun with that. Honestly, I wish I could change builds more often because I'm addicted to it.
Gotcha. So that's the group. That's who we're going to be talking with today. And I think that we just kind of wanted to talk state of the game and then what we expect for season 1, et cetera, right? I think that's kind of the general gist of the plan here. Chat for about an hour on how we're feeling about everything. So who wants to take their shot first at what they think on the 18th, the patch, which class is getting gutted the hardest and which one is getting buffed the most? Obviously, barbs are getting nerfed into the ground, as is tradition.
Necros are getting gutted the hardest.
Yeah, I think it's Sork. Sork's getting gutted the hardest. I like your opinion on that. With the whole mechanic is around them replacing their gym slots with the armor portion. So unless they're absolutely goated, they're already having survivability issues anyway. So then for them to make the whole seasonal mechanic around such a big part of their survivability, I think it's gonna be an issue. And that's all I have to say. So if anyone would like to come in.
I went first, so I'm not trying to jump in and go first again.
Oh, boy, this is going to be a great back and forth. All right. Well, I will go next then. I think Bone Spear is going to get nerfed after playing Bone Spear for a while. Like at the higher tier, like Bone Spear kind of does an insane amount of damage. And it starts to ramp really, like, I realized I was doing like 1-2 million damage. It's like, okay, it's, whatever. But then the second you start min-maxing like your gear and you're like, okay, now I got the essence. Now I got the, vulnerable damage, intelligence. Now I got the board. Like you go from like 1 to 2 million damage to like 5 to 7 million damage. Like it just ramps pretty fast there at the last little bit. So I feel like Bone Spear is going to get like cut in half probably.
Yeah, and Darth, did you do your title and everything, by the way? I don't know if you did or not, but anyway, I don't know that they're gonna nerf stuff because they know there's gonna be a ton of backlash, but they have been like nerfing things like the Whirlwind Barb and stuff like that. So they have been willing to nerf, but I think they're gonna try to bring a bunch of stuff up to snuff, if I had to guess. So hopefully they do some adjustments for the Sork and bring some stuff to compete with Bone Spear instead of just slamming Bone Spear down into the ground and then not doing anything else. So I'm hoping we will see some things. And I did some polling on my channel, and it looks like the player base is about half and half right now in terms of people that have already decided what class they're playing and then people that are going to wait to decide until the 18th. So it is definitely going to be a big patch where probably 50% of the players are going to decide what class to play at that point.
You guys know what class you're going to play yet?
Yeah, one note about what Chizza said there. I think they explicitly said that this was not an all buff patch. Like they mentioned, like, yeah, we're going to be nerfing some stuff pretty massively. So I agree with Darth that I think we're going to tackle Bone Spear Necro because that was the build that I thought was just ridiculous. Like you could roll up on World Tier 4 at like level 40 and one-shot things. It was like, what's going on here?
Druid too with the billions.
I'm playing Rogue though. I'm going back into the Rogue. I freaking love the Rogue. It's not nearly as fun to play any other class leveling. I'm excited to experiment with all the other builds once we actually get the ability to transfer our ult progress. I'm excited to jump into a bunch of ults after that, so I don't have to pull up the map and run around the map again.
So you're playing Rogue, and I'm assuming Kire's playing a Barb, which means Brad, you're playing.
I am not decided yet. I was leaning towards Necro because I wanted to do both the summoning and like the Bone Spear and test out the different builds because I already have hundreds of hours on Sork. But I'm in the camp of waiting to see what they do on the 18th, and I'll make my final decision. It'll either be Barb, Sork, or Necro.
Yeah, I'm excited to play the same class to really have a good comparison between what I already know and what the seasonal mechanics actually affecting.
I wonder, so my question for you is there's 32 more caged aspects, is what they call them, right? The caged whatevers. Do you think they're going to be as strong as aspects? Or do you think it's going to be like...
Well, their intent seems to be that they are. I don't know if they actually are going to be. Maybe the special one that they have, that fourth one that can fit in anything, that's going to be pretty game-changing. But... I would hope so. If they're going to make a whole thing about it, and then the entire season mechanic is it, and then they say in their press conference thing that they're supposed to be just as strong, if not stronger, and then they're weaker, that would be they totally missed the mark.
Yeah, true. The part that's making me excited by the season is they said they're supposed to be like broken, overpowered builds. They said that during the live stream. And it's like I kind of hope so. I kind of hope we like are actually running around one-shotting stuff for a little bit.
Yeah, I like that they're making it to where this season it's like broken and fun instead of making it to where it's like here's a little tiny boost and then they roll it over and then a tiny boost and then eventually it becomes fun and like broken, but it takes multiple seasons. Like I'm glad that they're just doing that, so it's easy to balance. Here's this new thing. It's insane, but it goes away so it doesn't keep stacking.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned because I think that the little hearts look interesting and they look to be potentially really strong. But as you mentioned earlier, there are some classes that don't need more damage. Like Sorcerer, I mean, obviously you can always use more damage, but like Sorcerer doesn't need more damage. Necro doesn't need more damage, assuming they don't nerf it crazy amounts, which they probably will. But a lot of these classes don't need more damage. The survivability is where it's really tough. And losing like 750 armor is going to be pretty rough for some of these classes. So I'm a little worried about how they think, how like perceive these parts and how strong they are versus how they actually will affect the later part of the game.
What if the cage aspects are like 50% of your damage comes back to you in an infinite scaling shield? And then there you go.
Then we're good. Then we're good. We don't need to worry about anything else. We're done. We won.
You make a point about not needing more damage, though. I mean, you kind of can kill everything. Really, it's like the thing that's stopping me from pushing the really high tier nightmare dungeons is I just fucking die. Like I have the damage, but I just die. So
yeah,
I guess
I'm in the same boat. I'm just sitting there like going through and like on a build planner searching damage reduction and taking every single thing that has damage reduction on it.
Yeah, I don't even know how to get much more damage reduction at this point. I have like 2 damage reduction with armor on like the necklace, like multiple damage reduction on the chest, 3 damage reduction total armor on the legs. Then you can do the damage reduction gems while fortified. Then you have the damage reduction while injured on the boots. It's like, okay, how much more fucking damage reduction am I going to need to build in this class? It's a very unsatisfying.
Like,
I know.
It's not fun. Well, because then you need to go on the Paragon boards and then get the strength ones that increase the magic nodes of the damage reduction on there. And you want to take every single glyph that has like 10% damage reduction in every single thing. So it's like every single thing you got plus all that damage reduction. Then you still need to take every single pack and slowly, maybe even stun them a bit too, as like another form of damage reduction to then maybe survive.
Is it the ARPG that has the biggest focus on defenses out of all of them? Because I haven't played D1, played a little bit of D2, played a lot of D3. Definitely is more focus on defensive than D3, I feel like. Played a little bit of Path of Exile, but I didn't play it all the way through or anything. I played like one season. So
I don't think it is. Because I completely agree with you. I think they're just so overcorrecting from Diablo 3 that now this is such a big emphasis. Damage reduction didn't really matter, and damage was to the moon in that game. So in this game, they're really trying to squish the damage portion, but then also make damage reduction relevant. And I like that trade-off as a good way to balance it. I just think it doesn't convey to power. I don't go like, look at all this damage reduction, and people go, wow, look at all that damage reduction. It's not an exciting thing to show people. So it's not exciting to build it, even though you need it.
So the resistance... go on, Brad.
PoE has a lot of defensive stuff in it, and also in Diablo 3, the support builds were godly. So what you would do is you'd group up to farm, and you'd have like 2 supports and 2 damage dealers or whatever, and you'd have like the ignore pain barb and stuff like that. So the support builds and defensive stuff was a lot stronger in Diablo 3, but I'm sure we'll get like aspects and Paragon boards and things that are added that will unlock a little bit more of the support style as they expand into more content. They go above like Nightmare 100 and all that.
Yeah, I didn't play enough PoE to know about the defensive side, which is what I'm curious about there. Because we also have PoE 2 coming. Is it August that PoE 2 is coming out? Is that correct? Or is that
they've already shown like a trailer and stuff. I don't remember the exact date though. I don't know if it's that soon.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was because I thought I remember seeing like an August timeline for something. I don't know if that's like when their next announcement's going to be, when there's a demo or a beta or whatever. But I remember
Google is saying recent trailer gives fans hope that it could come out in 2023, but there's a chance that this is happening holiday of 2023. But feels unlikely at this point. As of now, all signs are pointing to 2024 release date.
I see. People are saying that's the next season is the one in August.
I
wonder how much of the problem with like the defensive and damage reduction and armor, all that, is that the resistances are just garbage. Like once resistances actually do something, is this no longer as big of a focus and we can focus more on damage, you think? Or
I think that would help. Right now, there's ways to still take resistance on top of what we're getting with the DRs. I think it's a part of it is just it's not exciting and people don't want to do it. And then also the fact that resistances are just dog. So it's like once they boost those up, then we'll have an extra slot there that we can start putting in and be even more tanky. But I was looking through the resistance, and like a lot of times you're not taking resistance, or you're not taking a DR over resistance. You could just stack on more resistance in a different area with it. So it's like one of those things that I think is a missed opportunity because people know that it's so worse and should get buffed. But at the same time, it's not like we're having to replace it. So it's like, I think it's a bonus, but at the same, so it's kind of, yes, I think it's going to be better, but at the same time, we could be taking advantage of it now. And then when it gets buffed, we'll get even tankier.
My problem is anytime I get a resistance roll on anything, I think, oh, that's worthless. So if it's like my boots have 20% code resistance or whatever, I'm just like, oh, it just rode bad. Like that's just completely worthless. Like I don't think I've ever wanted any item to have resistance percentage for literally anything ever.
Yeah, I feel like something. Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say, resistance is actually like a good stat. The problem is that the like multiplicative nature of it like scales the resistance on your actual pieces because you already get built-in resistance with your rings and your amulets and such. So with just those pieces, you get such a massive amount of resistance, and then when you start to add stuff on it, like multiplies, and it ends up being like, oh, here's additional like 0.5% damage reduction against that specific element. It means like absolutely nothing. So they really just gotta like change the way you get value out of building it versus like just having it in your base gear. Because I think that's the real big problem coming from resistances right now.
Well, there's also not enough slots. Like, I did like how Diablo 3 did it, where they had the different slots, like the primary stat and the secondary stat, because that would enable you to have your secondary stats be a certain resistance you wanted, or be like all res or something where you wouldn't be sacrificing vulnerable damage or crit chance or something like that.
Yeah, that's my problem is I don't want to sacrifice any line of stats. There's 4 line of stats on these items. If I have like 2 resistance rows and I reroll one of them and I have a resistance row on something else, like I'm just not going to use it. Like I don't think I'm trying to get resistance ever.
Too much. I mean, on the headpiece, like at least for me, it's like flat, like armor percentage, flat health, cooldown reduction, 4 slots, kind of flexible, like max fury, something like that. But you can do a resistance there, and then on the boots, you can do a resistance there and not really lose too much. You can still get your damage reduction, injured, movement speed, whatever. So it's like a straight up raw bonus, in my opinion. But that bonus for being so hyper specific to not only that type of damage, but then you're constantly changing your dungeon. So you need to be willing to have that damage reduction on, like, you need to be like focus farming a specific dungeon, which the game doesn't really allow you to do because you're constantly rotating around.
Nightmare sigils and everything too, yeah.
Yeah. So the game's design doesn't encourage you to want to, like, let's say you could just pick blind burrows constantly. Then I think poison resistance would actually be pretty popular. But you need to kind of have this jack of all trades thing. So people don't really build that.
They're not planning to fix resistances into season 2, right?
I think they don't even know why they're so broken. Like they seemed pretty, like there was no confirmed time or anything about why they're even an issue and what they're going to do about it, from what I remember.
I thought it was supposed to get fixed, but I could be crazy. There's so many things to keep up with.
Season 2 is what they mentioned.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to.
Well, that'll be nice when resistances feel like they actually do something. The other part is like the one part I don't understand because I don't actually know the math behind it is armor also reduces non-physical damage. So you have the physical damage and then you have the non. So it's like, if you look at that, it makes you think, why would I just build anything but armor? Like it reduces everything. Like it reduces the physical and the non-physical for some reason. So armor's just the GOAT. Why would I want to build anything else? It's hard for me to not want total armor.
I think it only applies to a certain percentage of it, though. Like it's not a flat DR, right, Veiled?
It's like 50%. I think it's like 50% of that. And then you can still have you eventually reach it. And then when you're trying to punch up, that's where disobedience comes in. And then you still want to have the other things. It's not like you're trading it off. It's just an additional thing. I just think people are not in the situation where they're actually pushing content where they need all of that survivability to the point where resistances really even come in. It's what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say on like the in-game stuff, I never really feel like I need it either. Like when I'm fighting like a boss or something, it's like I don't really see that there's a boss I need to build certain resistances for. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's a thing in other games, right? Where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go fight this one particular boss, or I'm trying to farm this one thing, and then you do actually need to have a certain defensive build around it. But we've talked about the defenses a pretty good amount. So 32 caged aspects. I want to bring it back to that because that's kind of the seasonal mechanic. That's the fun one, right? What are you hoping to see out of these? Like 32 of them. There's a pretty big variety. Are you hoping that, what is it? I'm kind of curious.
I'm hoping that we get some crazy, like the kind of like cursed gear, that type of stuff, and the altar from Immortal. I thought they had like a crazy like options there where the effects were actually kind of cool, but like they're so trash to actually get off, like they have very low chances and stuff. I feel like that is kind of the direction they lean. We actually had a couple of kind of teaser images. They mentioned like there's going to be some utility, defensive, and offensive powers, so it could go any direction. I'm hoping that they are build around pieces. Like you have 36 hearts. Each one of them is like a build around piece for each class. You maybe have like, I don't know, 3 to 4 pieces. You could go more defensive, more like, oh, this is going to make this build work because it's a utility piece. And now I have, I don't know, infinite essence generation. I can spam out Bone Spear, and Bone Spear needs to get a nerf at 4th time or whatever. Like that's what I'm kind of hoping for. But if they're kind of just like a legendary aspect, I don't know if they're going to be encouraging enough to go and farm like the specific new dungeon to get them. Like they got to be good, like really good.
They didn't. So the different tiers that they said, there was like Wrath and then Vengeful or whatever. I don't know the exact name. So there's the 4 tiers of them. They're not exactly like one's worse than the other, right? It's just those are the color. There's 3 different colors of them, and then the 4th one fits in all of them, right? So what So what I'm curious about is, I really hope it's not like orange is offensive, blue is defensive. You know what I mean?
Well, that's literally what it is.
That's
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Yeah. And so you get... well, why?
Oh, no.
Okay, I guess, why do you not want it to be that way?
Because I don't know. I feel like then it's going to kind of boil down to, all right, it's either there's going to be 3 or 4 of them that are God tier, right? And it's like, okay, this one's an offensive one, this one's a defensive one. So the one where the RNG really comes in is not getting the hearts, it's getting the ring that has the right color slot for that one. And then it's like, I need this orange one and this. I guess that's the game. That's ARPG. So I don't know what I'm really complaining about. But I was just thinking in my head, like, it's okay if there's 32 of them and there's only 3 that's any good. And then the 4th tier one where it fits in anything. I'm hoping that isn't like, okay, there's only 2 Omega ones and those ones fit in anything. But I'm hoping any of them can drop at that tier. Like any of the 32 can be the one that fits in anything. So you farm, you're like, oh, I got the X, caged heart that I really wanted, but it's the wrathful one or whatever that fits in anything. So then you get a good Omega Law moment out of that. But that's kind of what that's what I'm hoping and not hoping for, because I'm hoping that there's enough usefulness to have all, and they go the Dota way of just making it ridiculous where all of these items are really good, and that you can kind of.
I'm with Veiled. I hope it's cool stuff, like game changing stuff. Like for example, every time you crit, there's a 5% chance you spawn a Hydra or something. Like something that every class can build around. Cool things that are happening based on something proccing within a build. And if they go that route with it, it could be a lot of fun and it could really change how people play certain builds.
They said there's an offensive, all right, so the chat's on this. They said there's an offensive, defensive, ultimate, or like a super and a utility. What do you think is super? Yeah. A super is supposed to mean, boys. So all I hear when I hear super is the other 3 are dog shit. These are the only ones that matter.
They were saying that they didn't want it to be that way. I'm worried that it's going to be that way, where it's like, okay, you have the super one, and then that's like the one that every class gets. I'm just worried that that's where it comes down to. Like, I would say worst case scenario, armor's just objectively better. And then I would say the season's a complete fail in that case scenario. And then another fail would be like the situation where there's like 2 God tier ones that everyone wants to get, and then all the other ones are kind of mid. I want like legitimately exciting, but also makes builds that don't exist currently actually happen. Like I think that would be a win for season 1.
I just want it to be absolutely ridiculous where they're all completely busted, and instead of 2 builds that are God tier and the other ones are like mid tier and then Barb gets nerfed every patch, instead it's like there's 50 builds and they're all ridiculous.
That we don't get gym slots in season 1. Yeah, they just they're going to remove them off the Barb.
They're going to remove gems. They're going to remove Fortifying Barrier off the Barb. No more weapons. You get one weapon.
Yeah, the arsenal system was a mistake, and they're just going to give us one weapon. It's going to be like a little dagger.
A wand. You get reduced to a wand.
I would rather them be absolutely busted than them be, too underpowered. I think a lot of times what the choices they've been making when it comes to these aspects is they're scared that they're going to be too good. And I hope they have the opposite effect, especially when it's a season. Like, you can be a little crazy in a season. It's fine. It's going to go away in 3 months. Yeah. It's not a big deal if it's crazy. So you can always kind of tune it down. But I hope they kind of shoot for a higher power, like which they were saying. They're saying it's like they're going to be busted. And I want them to double down on that. And hopefully they make it to where it's not like blatantly obvious. Like, here's this, like, you need to use this core skill. And now obviously this core skill is completely busted. And so it just takes like an existing build that is already good and makes it great.
What's your leveling strat? This is cool. I'm looking through these talking points Chosen has prepared, and this one's got me curious. How are you guys planning to level? This is something I haven't really thought about yet.
Go ahead, Bill. You go ahead.
I just put out a video today, my rogue level guide. So, go watch that. I'm basically, there's a couple of things with it. I'm going to be just basically running around in the open world, getting to like an early level really quickly, and then immediately joining Champion's Demise. And then
is that the plan? Is that what we're doing? We're running Champion's Demise for 30 hours straight?
It's going to be the four of us getting to level 17, and then we're going to be split farming lanes and Champion's Demise till level 100, baby. Here we go.
Oh my!
Is that possible? Are we not going to ring the bell?
Then we move into then we move into Temple of Rot. Resetting, so it's the same thing, just a different map. And then when we get to the Nightmare Dungeons, then we're just running Nightmare Dungeons as a group forever. So that's your
the chat's talking. The chat is talking about Stronghold meta. People keep telling me this.
Video.
He made a video about this.
Good.
Yeah, did you do the math on it?
It's pretty good.
Is it over?
You want to get to like level 17 ASAP, and then you want to go to the Onyx Stronghold and probably do that until about level 30. Then you want to do the Temple of Rot until you're strong enough to do your capstone dungeon, and that's kind of the plan.
So I've tested both these. Rax is correct in that these strongholds, the route that he planned is objectively the best in terms of XP. However, the problem I have with it is that when you're running around the map and doing all these different strongholds, you kind of have to know exactly what your route is. Otherwise, you're just going to be slower trying to be like, okay, wait, which one's now the best XP? Like, I have to go to this one, right? Or I have to travel or whatever. Because each stronghold has certain level requirements. So you need to be at a certain level. So in order to make it very streamlined, my plan is, as I said, go to level 17, do my rogue specialization, get my aspect during that time, and then go to Champion's Demise, repeat farm that, which is about the same XP as Onyx Stronghold. And then once you get to 27, then you run Stronghold of Rot, which is way better XP. So my route is a little bit easier and potentially the same XP.
There's an important,
because you just have to do the same thing.
There's an important difference here, though, right? Isn't Rax participating in all those guys? They're doing like a hardcore solo self-find thing, right? So whereas the Champion's Demise is like a group strat, right? Like solo versus these are probably like different.
The Stronghold strat is a group thing too.
It is. I haven't looked into the Stronghold at all, which is why I'm asking.
Well, Darth is right, because it's a lot easier to reset and repeat strongholds than it is a dungeon like Champion's Demise. But you can still split farm on the strongholds and just clear them, 2.5x the speed. So you're right though. If you're solo, the like Rax stronghold method is going to be better.
Yeah, so Champion's Demise, when you actually get a group together, it is by far better. Like the Stronghold of Rot, the way it works is kind of awkward to like group farm it, because you all teleport onto the same person. And the actual time it takes to farm Stronghold of Rot is about 1:30, which you can't really shave much time off of that in a group. And actually resetting it and get everyone to join the party will actually slow you down a lot. Whereas Champion's Demise takes about 4 minutes, 30 seconds. So when you split farm it, you can drop it down to like 2 minutes, easy, assuming everyone is able to farm it relatively the same pace. So group farming Champions Demise is going to be a little bit better, I think, than the Strongholds when you actually have 3 dedicated players.
But how many?
It's also. Go ahead, Dart. Sorry.
Oh no, you go and Chosen. You always.
I was gonna say, well, the nice thing about Champions Demise is it's like tailor made for this, and it's just so consistent. It's so perfect. Like you've got the 3 dedicated lanes, and you get like the literal 3x XP. Whereas Strongholds won't be quite so perfect. You don't have like the 3 dedicated solo lanes, so it's just the layout more so than like the actual dungeon versus Stronghold.
Okay, I'm curious. Okay, so here's that's the objective way to do it. Doesn't this sound like terrible?
Yeah, it
sounds
boring.
so
It sounds
boring.
boring as shit.
Yeah, like this right here, min-maxing this is worse in my opinion than Champions Demise. In Champions Demise, I can mindlessly do something dumb, whereas this is like crazy. Okay, so from 17 to 34, we do this, and then like that's just absurd to me.
Well, I mean, everyone loses their mind about like Diablo 3 boosting and everything, but it's Diablo 4 level power farming is literally worse. Like it's like actually more boring. You have to do a menu simulator in order to get it to even work, which they allow because that's like they're like, oh, that's the way it works, so you do it anyway. So it's just like, okay, we'll jump through these hoops in order to do it, and then you kill the same fucking dungeon over and over again, which is basically just rifts, only more annoying. And then you do it, you just repeat it, and then half the time you're dealing with a suppressor anyway.
Okay,
So,
I got a question. Okay, so that's the spreadsheet to maximize XP. What would be our solution to maximize fun? How do we maximize fun while leveling?
oh, I'm playing hardcore. I don't know what you guys are
play
doing, but I'm playing
hardcore.
hardcore.
Play hardcore, and then you have a different prize for if you die first, second, third, or last.
I think
I
we
like
should
that.
all try playing hardcore until you die, you're out, you go do your softcore, no problem. But we see who,
One life,
one
opportunity.
life, one shot, one moment, never let it go. And we all
I like
see
the stakes.
we put some stakes on it, actual stakes. I'll cook Kire's steak if
Actual stakes.
yeah,
I
I'll
like
cook you a
that.
steak if I die before you do or something. We all play our
Okay,
main
yeah.
class.
That'll be our prop bet. What's our overall bet? And then our prop bet is if you die first, you have to cook me a steak. If I die first before you, I'll cook you a steak.
That's our side IRL bet. But then these
Yeah.
guys are going to be hard to. We got to rope them in somehow. I don't know what.
we need the overarching group bet and
I'm
then that side
guessing-
competition.
0% shot I can get Veiledshot to do hardcore. I'm thinking it's next to 0%.
I was planning on doing hardcore, actually.
You are? Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh,
okay.
shit.
All right, this is
Okay.
great. Okay. Well, then we're all in. So then
We
all
did
we
it.
got to do is talk Brad into it. And the boys are back in town, baby.
Wait, you're all 3 doing hardcore? The Veiled, you're doing hardcore? This is like
Yeah.
news to
My
me. This is
plan
like
was to
breaking.
not, but if we all go in, I'm doing it. If we're all doing it.
I say we all fucking do it. And we
Yeah.
we
So
do the
how
whole
about this?
solo
we
thing.
all do group. Like we're all going to be doing hardcore, but solo self-found hardcore for the first, and then you get one shot, and then when you die, then you can do whatever the hell you want. You can either make another hardcore, whatever, doesn't matter,
Sure.
but you're out of the competition.
I think that'd be a fun competition. Depends upon your guys' strats and what you want to do. I'm not trying to bully anyone into it. I think it sounds kind of fun, though, to be honest. It does sound kind of interesting.
I just want a free steak cooked for me, so I'm totally down.
$2 steak it is.
Veiled, you're starting the
round.
season hardcore. Is this true?
Yeah, why not?
You heard it confirmed on
That's
the
surprising.
Test
stream.
I can go test my level 100 rogue builds on my level 100 rogue if I wanted to.
That's
Yeah,
true.
but The other thing that we're not considering here is the bugs. Like, okay, so
Considered. It's all good.
Veiled, when you play for 46 hours straight and then you die to a menu glitch when you finish a rift, or a nightmare dungeon.
I get a 1 out of 10 video.
Yeah, it makes an amazing clip. Fuck Blizzard, this game's dog shit, I quit, and then you just put your clip of you dying.
Yeah.
And
The only bug you got to worry about is your camera and your recording software not working.
the OBS bug, that's the real one.
Yeah, that would be the real nightmare right there.
I don't know, that sounds kind of fun.
If you guys are down, I'm down. I mean, I was a hardcore player for 10 years on Diablo 3. I just worry a little bit about the state of Diablo 4 and hardcore, but I love hardcore. That's what I've played in every ARPG.
Okay, rule of this, if you die by a bug, doesn't matter. You can die in the most bullshit way imaginable. It does not matter.
You die,
it's all on the table. Yeah. There's getting it done. There's not getting it done.
If you die in the
doesn't
game,
fucking
you
matter,
die
yeah.
in real life.
Uh-huh.
That's the plan.
No.
And Twitch is going to cut off DM stream.
There it is.
What's the game? What's the movie where it's like if you die in the game, you die in real life? What's that from?
I don't know, like Gamer or some shit like
That
that.
might
I
have
don't
been
know.
Gamer or Death
I used
Race
to get like
or what
Sword
was
Art,
it?
Sword Art Online, like
Yeah.
There, that quote's from something. I don't remember what it's from.
Oh, yeah, Tron. Yeah, I can see.
Sword Art Online.
Yeah,
People are
because
saying Sword Art
that
Online.
exact quote, I remember that, but I don't remember the movie.
You die in the game, you die in real life. Yeah, it's from a movie. People are saying.
Okay, well
Tron.
then we need the stakes of this game because I'm already banking. I got what was our bet, Kire? 1,000 that you owe me. So I already won that bet.
Yo, I got that clipped. Yeah, there's no way you can alter the terms of that deal.
He's got the receipts.
Yeah, I got the receipts. Yeah, I am paying 5 gift subs, but you never stream. So the best thing about this deal is I never have to pay it off because you just never stream. So it's all good.
You can gift
Waiting for
offline.
season 1. I'm waiting for season 1.
Wait,
What am I going to
wait,
stream right
okay, I
now?
got you.
Wait, Brad,
Crunching spreadsheets?
you're letting him off this one. You can gift subs while offline. Isn't that right?
No, but he needs the moment. You know, I'm not going to just like rob him of the moment.
That's a good counter. All right, nicely done.
Well, if I can't gloat live, then what was the point of the bet?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So
That's what I would have wanted.
if we're all doing
if I would've
hardcore,
wanted
then what we have to decide if we want to do the SSF thing or if we all just want to circle jerk in a party doing Champions Demise together. It really depends upon what we're trying to do here. Because the solo self-find sounds more fun and it's like a better bet. The Champions Demise, circle jerk sounds like a way more efficient.
It sounds miserable, and I don't want to like start the season 1. Like it's going to be very hard to keep good energy with here. Let's min max this, and I got 18 spreadsheets over here.
Yeah, I actually don't want to do that.
It actually sounds so miserable, and like I just want to play what I want to play while still playing Diablo, and like it just.
I do completely agree. I think it'd be way fun. I think it'd be way more fun to sit in the call together while we're all like in our own, doing our own thing, and be like, "Oh, what level are you? Oh, I love it. I got a legendary, whatever." Like, I think that sounds infinitely more enjoyable than like, "Okay, I'm inviting you. Okay, I'm accepting. Okay, I'm going to the bottom left again." I can't do it again, dude. Champions Demise is brutal.
And we're like minimizing bugs because we're not hitting as many loading screens.
Ooh.
Like I think you know what? Remember Iridu where everyone was there and it was just dog shit? It could be us dodging that strategy is going to avoid getting lagged out. Yeah.
The
where's
real
that on
play,
Rex's spreadsheet?
The real play is doing the most inefficient, horrible method in the game because no one's dumb enough to do it. Therefore, we win because the rest of the servers lag out. That's brilliant.
Hey, we got it done though. We did it. They're sitting there and,
Our only play is they die at level 98.
About that. I'm way more excited now about season 1 than I was before because I'm watching all these videos about this and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like I feel like I'm taking crazy pills over here where it's like, yes, that's objectively true. And if people want to do that, I'm not going to like say that's dumb. But like me personally, I do not want to do that.
All right, well then I got to find out what my secret sauce is if we're doing solo. I gotta figure out my alpha
Is that what
plan.
we're doing? We're doing SSF hardcore for stakes.
I mean, I have a side
SSF.
pot. I got a side pot bet going on with Kire where the loser cooks the other person a steak. And I think that sounds pretty good because I know Kire can't cook a steak, but I can eat one. So
I can legitimately cook a better steak than you. You know that goated steak that we made on stream? No, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. 100%. Like we can have another side bet where I make a better steak than that other one, and then
we can go turn those all the way down. I can go as many side bets with these steaks as you want.
This is the best bet in your situation where it's like, okay, I make a steak, and then you're like, nope, it wasn't better.
Yep.
No, that one sucked.
And you're incentivized to buy the best steak because you want me to think it's good.
No, I'm just gonna buy a typical like thing from Costco, like a solid steak. Because I guarantee you didn't buy anything fucking fancy either.
I had it was $7 for 2 ribeyes, and it was absolutely phenomenal.
What?
What?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, right.
way.
$7 for $7.35. No, it's 100% true. $7.35.
I don't think that was a steak. What did you eat?
It was a New York ribeye. It was absolutely delicious. You got it was good.
You got some McDonald's steaks or something.
This is just.
It was a local butcher.
Okay, well, that's
Local
important.
butcher, and
actually.
did you have
Now
store
we're changing
credit?
the conversation.
How many ounces were they? 2?
I 69. I didn't weigh that.
Like I want to be wrong about that because $7 for 2 ribeyes is fucking absurd. So I love that for you. That's fantastic.
He meant New York Strip. He meant New York Strip, guys.
Whatever.
Don't leave him.
I thought it was a New York. I thought it was New York ribeye. That's why I thought it was. That maybe that makes no fucking sense. I don't know steaks. Yeah, you meme on me all you want. All I'm saying is that's what I remember. It said New York somewhere on the fucking thing. It was $7.35, and there was 2 of them, and they were both A+ tier. All right, A+.
Okay, well, that's awesome. So it can only go up from here. Okay, what are we on the goals here, or on the list?
So now that we've settled that Kire's losing the solo self-find bet, we're moving on to the next one here. Current sentiment and attitude of the Diablo 4 community. That's the next topic that we've listed out here. Okay, I feel like the current sentiment is everyone's bored as fuck waiting for season 1. That's what I believe. I think people are AFK waiting on season 1. That seems to be like 60% of it. There's that, or the people that barely play, so they're still having a good time of leveling. The rest of the people are just like, where's season 1? You're level 100. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm talking about people that are
excited.
Like
I've been having fun the entire time. I'm
having fun too.
Whoa, hold on. Weren't you the one that was like just earlier? Wow, more Champions Demise.
Yeah, that part's the worst part of the game. The game gets good at 60. And I'm hoping that the leveling experience... Well, because I feel like I made the leveling experience terrible for me, and I hated the beginning because all I wanted to do is the most efficient thing, which is just a terrible way to play the game. So I'm going to play inefficiently, but do something fun. Like, I want to experience the seasonal mechanic. I like the stakes of the hardcore. And then I just play by myself, so I feel exactly how strong I am. I'm not getting carried, or I have to worry about getting carried by another class. I don't. If you're like 15 levels higher than me, I don't want to hear it. It's just like I just want to play the damn game and see how it feels now versus like, okay, here's this new thing that we get, this new toy we get to play with. How do I feel differently from that? And I think that sounds infinitely more fun than winning a race to 100 or something.
I think the races are fun though. We're gonna race each other though. Right? So I don't know. I don't mind the competitions. What I don't want to do is the menu simulator, like you're saying. Like, that's just like, I'm not doing that again. Like, I completely agree with the point that like we ruined the game for ourselves in the beginning because it's the game launched. So everyone's sitting there rushing. Everyone and their mom watches every single streamer go in the same dungeon over and over and over again. It's like, what is this game? You know what I mean? But everyone's
but I'm too old to compete with Veiledshot on a season reset. Okay. Veiled's gonna play like 76 straight hours. He's like 21 years old. So
you still got this.
King in the North, baby. We grind. we gotta lead our troops into battle. Easy.
Take whatever plan or schedule you had, delete it. That's gone.
Veiled has to start the season 5 hours after everybody else. He has to sit AFK at the starting line, just twiddling his thumb.
I want to see just how much faster he leveled than me. I want to get the exact amount of...
Wait, but what's the competition? If we're racing 100, there's no fucking way I'm playing Druid again. Solo self-find? Are you insane? No, we're all going to play Rogue. Yeah, we're all going to play fucking Rogue.
Sounds like you're not a true Druid player. That's the problem. Breaking the hearts of all Druids out there.
No, here's the thing. We should each get to ban 2 classes for each other person.
That's so lame.
No.
Whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah, I don't want to do any ban.
Vale's just gonna play Rogue and max the 100.
And if he wins, I think he's gonna get cocky and just die over some stupid
stuff. Right. It is hardcore.
Also, I'll DDoS him or some shit. So it'll work out.
It'll be fine. We just gotta get his IP.
In other ways, yeah.
I like that idea.
To learn how to do that than it would be to like try to race him as a barbarian.
Well, dying sounds like accurate. I'm just gonna say accurate.
So I think we play exactly what we want to play. So we're actually having fun. I tried this before with Druid and I was literally miserable. So I don't blame you for not wanting to play solo self-find Druid because because I think probably the most if you want to maximize fun, you play like a rogue. You play something that levels fast, and then you just get boosted on the other classes later, and so then you can just maximize the best parts of each class.
Yeah, my issue is like okay, so what is the competition though? Are we all getting 100 and then fighting in PvP and the last man standing wins? Like what? Yeah, then we have to figure out what is the
that would be an epic way to kill our characters.
That'd be a great way to end it.
Like I would only want to do that if we were able to guarantee no one else is in there. Because I would want to stream it and show it, but I don't want anyone griefing us and then he just comes in and just like Hoda all four of us. But if we can actually like 1v1v1, that'd be so sick. Like make it like immortal, like, and we all have to.
Yeah, I'll go and play a battle royale stuff. But no, if we're racing to 100, like I mean, we're all going to be playing rogue. Either I'll play rogue or man, fuck, maybe I will just play druid and just hope you guys die.
Playing barb. I'm going to go tanky as fuck. I might just go full thorns tank build and just wait it out.
You're going to be AFK leveling, so you just go stand when you go to bed. You just go stand out of World Tier 1 and just
killing boars. That's what I'm gonna be doing all the way to.
Kind of.
But like, see, already I feel like that's so much more exciting. Like the stuff that we're theorizing on our own plan and our own thing, I'm way more excited about than like we already got like the mathematically correct play to do it, but. Okay, who cares? Like whereas there's stakes, it's fun, you can die, way more fun.
Oh, I'm still doing the mathematically correct play, but I'm going to die while doing it. And
I didn't know what I was getting into here today.
Yep, just through the power of peer pressure and a live camera, we got you.
Now my mind's racing. What class do I actually play? Do I play my comfort class of druid? If Bone Spear makes it through the nerfs, do I play the Brain Dead Bone Spear Necromancer? If Bone Spear gets gutted and blood doesn't get buffed, well, then it's trash, and I just play fucking rogue. I mean, that's what do I do here?
Yeah, but Bone Spear is like Necro struggles with CC. I just think the play is rogue. I don't know because you're gonna get CC'd in the Necro and it only takes once.
Yeah, but if you play rogue, then you die in one hit. So you're gonna have to be very careful. I don't know.
Arthur's metagaming.
I think metagaming. Play Druid, pray to RNGesus for that one legendary aspect. And then if you get it early, then you're good. If not, GG.
The problem is I feel like the Druid comes online with a unique. And it's going to take it like, I mean, I could go to 98 before I get it.
You got to really pray hard to RNGesus. Hit that unique and you're good. It's fine. Yeah, I think that should be your strat.
Oh, you see Moldingo's in the chat. Shout out to John.
Yo, there he is.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I guess we'll figure out what class we're going to play. We're all kind of... I
gotta hold secrets.
Well, you're playing Barb. You're not exactly a secret.
I can't expose my secret barbarian leveling.
Yeah, Vale's playing Rogue and Kire's playing Barb. The only ones we don't know are DM and me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what is it, Brad? What are you playing here? You playing? How about you pick my class, I pick your class.
Oh, really?
And we really fuck each other over, and I just make you play Barb or something brutal, and then yours. I don't know.
I don't really care.
How about all four of us play Barb?
I don't know. I don't think I would care. But if I got to choose, I would probably. If I had to pick today, I'd probably go Necro.
Yeah.
Necro. Well, I think Necro's a good choice. I think Necro comes online, like when it comes online, it hits like an absolute truck. You just start mowing things down.
I think it's gonna eat a fucking nerf though. The other part is, the other part is the caged aspects could be way better on some classes than others.
Yeah.
So when we get going with this,
be exciting.
Rogue could go from like S tier to complete trash, and then Druid could become the god early because the cage aspects only work with Druid for whatever reason. So that's you know what? Maybe I'll just pray, like let Jesus hold the wheel, and just pick Druid blind.
There you go. Come on, carry me season 1. Okay, but you guys down for another topic?
Yeah, let's move on to the next topic here. Well, you guys want to talk about Microsoft acquiring Blizzard?
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on that?
In specific?
What's a talking point? I don't necessarily have thoughts. It looks like Brad
I can give you a good talking point because this surprised me. I can post this in the chat here. Because this definitely surprised me. I don't know if you want to pull it up or not. I'll drop it in there, but I did not expect that.
Well, I think it's just short-sighted. So I think right now it's good for gamers at the moment, but long term it's bad. Because what they're doing is like they're eating a massive loss to basically hoard every single IP, give you a great value with Game Pass, which literally no company by themselves could ever financially support doing a value proposition like that, except like Apple and Microsoft. Then when they finally win, then they just crank the prices up. And then it's still a good value. It's a good value now at $15. And then as they get more and more IPs, they crank it up to 30, 40, but like they make it to where gaming is just purely off of subscription. And then it's like, okay, and I think they become like the Adobe of gaming.
Brad, you have a mild echo. Yeah, my issue with it is I get more concerned the more that one company owns more things. I don't necessarily have a problem with one acquisition. I mean, that's the way companies go. As one company gets more and more and more and more and more of them, then and more things other than just games too. Like Microsoft's a big company, own a lot of things. You know what I mean? So it's as those pockets get deeper, so does the scaling. It's like armor; it scales pretty good later, right? So. That's kind of how I feel about acquisitions.
Yeah. As they get it, it's like there's no DRs. It goes straight to the moon. It's like multiplicative scaling there, and so there's such a massive company. Like if you look at the scale of Microsoft versus Sony, they're not even in the same ballpark. It's like absurd how much bigger they are, and they can use the profits of one side of it to just eat the other one. Like they bought a company almost as big as Sony. It's like 70 billion versus 120 billion. It's like crazy to me, like that there's even a competition in the first place. Like they want just sheer market dominance, and then they can just crank the prices and do whatever the hell they want. Just at the moment, people are looking at it from the perspective of, yeah, Game Pass is dope. I want more games on Game Pass. It's $15. But then later down the line, it just and you see examples of that. This is not just me theorizing it or being a doomer here. It's like you see Netflix and all these things always go up in price. So it's probably going to end up happening that way.
True, but then I also think like I like my Netflix, I like my Disney Plus. Like the more IPs they acquire, the more I feel like I'm getting value as a consumer. So I'm kind of like back and forth on it.
Those models, like for example, Disney, it's like a massive money losing pit for them. Disney might not be a big enough company to sustain something like that, whereas Microsoft is. So like there's rumors, I don't know how real this is, but of like Apple buying Disney, for example. So then you can have that level of spending to get a service that people are willing to eat.
All right,
more.
Where's this end? In 100 years, what's the one? Because we all know how it ends. So there's one company that buys everything. So what's the one company on the planet that gets every other company? Who's the big brother?
It'd be like four. I think there's four big brothers. It's going to be Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. There you go. We just accelerated it 30 years from now.
I think it's Lucasfilm. They're gonna conquer the world, and
I'd be okay with that.
No, I hope that'd be the dream, right?
Yeah, it would be.
So Call of Duty, though.
It's a Game Pass. Well, imagine Call of Duty on Game Pass. Everyone's gonna get Game Pass.
What were you gonna say, Brad? Brad was going to come in with a hot take.
I was going to say, I think part of the deal was that Microsoft had to guarantee that Call of Duty won't become like Xbox exclusive for the next 10 years. So
they have like an agreement there. There's a little bit of, they still gain a massive competitive edge from that because, like, for example, companies would send, like, let's say Sony would send a Blizzard Activision the specs for the PS6, for example. And then whereas now Microsoft gets that. So it's like, even though, yes, there's technically a thing for 10 years, also Call of Duty's been dominant for more than 10 years. So yes, it sounds like a really long time, but in the grand scheme of things, it's like really not from a big company market dominance perspective. And they're going to get a competitive advantage on other things around it.
Okay, I've got one other for you here. You ready for this topic? All right, so after this podcast, I'm going to do Only Up, all right? And I'm going to make Kire download the game, and then I'm going to race him 1v1 and Only Up for yet another stake. How do you feel about that, Kire? The person
yet another stake?
Another stake. So the person...
when is this happening?
after the podcast, what do you think? You race me in only up because I got to do only up today. We had sub goal yesterday that we hit.
Are you just in this mood that you just want to cook me steaks? You could just cook me the steak.
That's a lot of shit talk for someone who hasn't agreed to the only up 1v1 quite yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to.
DM is literally farming Kire for staying. There you go. Farming Kire like a fucking cow right now. I got beef to settle.
Literal and figurative beef. So,
it's like going on Tinder just looking for dinner. That's what Darth's doing.
I know, right? Yeah.
All right, next here. Thoughts on preseason now that it's wrapping up? I think we kind of covered the seasons pretty well. I got one for you. Do you think people that don't play seasons are going to get enough content that they're still excited about the Eternal Realm? Because I think there's like some casual people that just don't want to play seasons. They're just hard opposed to it. It seems like Diablo 4 kind of grabbed a lot of people that are kind of new to the genre, and a lot of those people don't want to play seasons. So I know we're getting everything except the seasonal mechanics, right? For the Eternal Realm. Am I wrong about that, or is that my understanding of it?
I think they're getting into new aspects and stuff that are coming through. And I think
they're not going to get the seasonal mechanics, but they're going to get the aspects like Kire's saying. I think this is an interesting thing because I had this conversation in my comment section the other day where someone was like, yeah, but why do they have the replayability built into seasons? Like, why can't they just do it within the game? Like, just because it's something that's traditionally in ARPGs, like, doesn't mean that it should be. And I was basically like, it's not that it's that over something else. It's that most ARPG players actually prefer that. Like, they prefer the fact that the season has the seasonal reset. It has like the mechanics, and they don't want to play Eternal Realm. Like, that's boring to them. I mean, Chosen's a perfect example, right? And I actually think that the people who are casual players don't even care. They're still like just playing through the game. And then the people that are not and don't want to play seasons, and they are a little bit more hardcore, I think they're just going to leave. Like, I don't think that this is kind of something that they're going to replay. It's just, I played it, I'm done, I'm moving on.
How much of the seasons, the people that want to do it, like you're saying, how much of that is tied to the fact that they want to like do things like we're talking about with like racing each other and do leaderboard type of things? Because it seems to me like the seasons are like a fresh start, in which gives you the opportunity to do these different challenges and climb leaderboards, and we don't have leaderboards. So how much of that do you think weighs into the question? Chosen, how about you? You're a leaderboard guy.
Yeah, no, that's a big deal for me. And my argument was always that leaderboards are a massive deal, not only for the people that compete on them, but it just kind of breathes life into the community, because you get all these conversations like, oh, did you see Woody Joe? He cleared a tier 100 on day 5 of the season. Like, holy cow. And it like drives discussion. Or, oh, did you see Veiledshot in our clan? He's already at tier 88. And like seeing these different leaderboards, it makes everything so much more interactive, and it gives the community something to follow and track and follow their favorite streamer and their favorite clan and all that. And it has like competition, like all 4 of us could be like, dude, it's day 2. I'm already on, rank 79. Where are you at? Like, and it just kind of gives a lot more goals. So I'm pretty bummed out that there isn't a leaderboard, or at least like a friend or a clan leaderboard or something, just for people to have fun banter back and forth.
You got to counter that, Veld? What's your take on that?
No, I think that this is just a very minute part of the audience, not that this is like an invalid thing. Like, arguably those people are the most dedicated to the game and the genre. At the same time, they're also a very small portion. It's kind of like if I were to compare this to, everyone's favorite Diablo Immortal, it's like, okay, does Blizzard cater to like the whales, or do they cater to the free to play? Because the whales are like a small portion at the very top, and then the free to play are the majority of the audience. So it's like the same thing. Do you cater towards like the leaderboards for the small population, or do you cater towards like the majority, which is like, well, I don't want season passes to be limited to only seasonal characters. I don't want, I don't really care about leaderboards. I just want to play the game. I think the only thing that's really, I guess you could say, advantageous towards leaderboards for the casual player is like just to have an option of like, oh, I don't even know what to do. I'll look at this guy's build and copy it. Like, that's the only, you say, advantage towards casual players with leaderboards.
Looked at as an advantage or a disadvantage, where everyone just, plays one build. They don't really think for themselves. They're not like experiencing the game. They just like go to the leaderboard, pick the build, and copy it. Has anyone ever played Stanley Parable?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know the part where you're doing a mechanic and it's like, oh, what if I add a leaderboard to it? You know, like you're playing the thing. Well, what if I add that? And that's kind of how I look at leaderboards, where it's like the game itself should be fun. The leaderboard is not really adding much to it. I'm not trying to invalidate the people that like leaderboards. I just think if you took an entire player base that you're trying to, and there's pros and cons to developmental time, you're developing this big thing that a very small percentage of people are going to be using.
Then, Kire, how do you feel about seasons, considering the fact it's like you got a full-time job, you can only play like a few days a week typically. So how does that weigh into the equation compared to like some of us where we play Diablo all day, right? So how do you feel about seasons? I'm kind of curious.
I like the idea of everyone being on the same page for it, but I think for me, I value like trying out different builds. And so what it's going to be doing is it's going to be stopping me from doing the thing that I like to do, which is be at close to max level and try all these different builds out. But I think my tastes are very niche, and I'm trying to get excited for like I'm leveling another character, and it's actually been pretty fun leveling one. But I don't want to level too much because I don't want to burn myself out when the season comes through. But I also want to kind of get an idea of what I'm going to be doing for the season. So I like it. I think it's good. If anything, the seasons at first it sounds discouraging to do the season thing, but I like the aspect of everyone being on the same level, and then it's exciting again. We get to do this. It's like a shot of energy back into the player base on what they're going to be doing, and everyone has to start at the same level with a new mechanic. So I think it's just a big W.
Okay, so then back to Brad here for a moment. So as someone who likes leaderboards, you're probably the guy who likes the leaderboards the most, I would think, out of all of us, I would assume. Okay, do you think 3 months is enough once we do have the leaderboards in the game, and it looks like they're going to be quarterly seasons, so every 3 months, do you feel like that's enough time for you to get dedicated into the board, get positioned in the board, and then be ready for the next one?
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily that I love leaderboards or like going for rank 1. I just like DM or like Kire and Vale were talking about. I like seeing the landscape of the game. Sure. I like seeing it gives me more information. I can see like, oh, this class is doing this build is doing this person's build is this. How does that compare to my build? I can just see way more landscape of the game. So it's not even that I like competing or I think it's like some huge deal. I just like having the information is kind of the main thing. But yeah, I think 3 months is about right. Usually they're popular for a month or two, and then the community kind of slows down for a month or two and ramps up for the next season. So yeah, I think it's about that. Yeah, the time frame is about right.
Do you want to talk about the battle pass, like seasonal favors, etc.? You guys interested in that topic here for a moment?
Yeah, I actually think it's really cool. I know some people hate the battle pass, and I think the biggest criticism that you can have about the battle pass is the fact that it's only accessible through seasons. I don't think it's really that difficult to give it to your average player. Like you just give it to them and let them earn points through just killing monsters, and then just take it away at the end of the season, right? Because how a normal battle pass works. Because I'm actually excited about I'm going to be able to put points into like the monster XP, my crafting materials or whatever. I just think that's a little bit cool of an additional progression mechanic. And then of course, anything that's like extra is just cosmetics. And it's like, I don't know what there is to really complain about that, unless you're someone that's not, I guess, interested in cosmetics or you hate it and it's a bad thing for the game. I don't know. I just think it's overall just a good thing.
So I got a question. Do you think we're ever going to get away from the pay to win conversation? Because even now in chat, there's somebody talking about it's okay to fund the game with pay to win. And it's like, because they called it a battle pass, I feel like it's very hard to get it. Like they should have used a different word for this or fundamentally integrated the mechanic differently.
Should have just called it a seasonal journey. And then that's where it is, I
think there's always going to be the discussion. Is it really that big of a deal? I mean, if anything, I like that there's always a discussion. So there's something to talk about content wise. I think the only issue would be is they actually double down and make real pay to win. Like when it comes to the stash tabs, and I think they kind of did it to themselves. First being immortal, second being a dog shit interface when it comes to stash tabs. And so they're perpetuating that where everyone's scared that they're going to be selling them for a cost. If they just designed a good like a storage system, I think that would be a lot less.
What?
So it's kind of.
What's the over under on them actually selling stash tabs? I see this conversational point brought up multiple times, and like I'm thinking there's no shot they sell stash tabs, but you guys got a counter?
No shot. No shot. They're not gonna like explicitly sell stash tabs like $1.99 for a stash tab. What I could see happening is it being part of like an expansion pack, like whatever, like Reaper of Souls for Diablo 3, and then a feature of the expansion pack is like expanding the storage system or something like that. But they won't just like flat out sell stash tabs.
See, I think this is interesting because someone mentioned like, hey, there's a seasonal journey and a season battle pass. They're separate but together. That's kind of my point. Is like they should have just put them together. And then what would happen is like, oh, your seasonal journey just progresses this thing as well, which gives you potentially cosmetics if you buy an upgrade. Like if they had just done the same, they're like, oh yeah, cool. Like it's just the seasonal journey. I'm just progressing it. And it's not pay to win. And then if I want to, I can go ahead and invest to get cosmetics. I invest is the wrong word, but just like have fun spending money for cosmetics. I don't think they're going to ever add stash tabs. And I also think that in general, like the pay to win conversation is kind of moot, simply for the fact that we like literally have them saying like, hey guys, like we really didn't intend it to be pay to win. So like any sort of pay to win is an accident. Like that they literally said that. So I mean,
but they could argue that stash tabs aren't pay to win. They could argue it's just more storage.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and also when it comes to the seasonal mechanic, I just curious what you guys think about this, where it's intentionally designed to be a seasonal thing on the Battle Pass because they want to have that aspect of you slowly progressing it. And if you added it to a normal thing, then you would progress it like instantly. And so then you don't get that, that kind of mental thing in mobile games where you are actively progressing it, so you value it more. And so when you are slowly progressing in the beginning of the season, you kind of value that progression, that sense of progression a little bit more. That's why they intentionally designed it that way.
So I am of the belief they're only going to sell cosmetics because it's a $70 game. First of all, so it's not a free game. So a lot of these other games that are being brought up both in chat as well as we're talking about, these are free games. Like you can just download them at any time. So in order to make money, they do it. They've already made this is their best-selling game of all time from a revenue standpoint. So they've made their bag, and they're going to milk the bag by selling cosmetics through the Battle Pass, which will be, whatever you feel about cosmetic purchases. If they start selling stash tabs, etc., I think it will be a fundamentally way too hard of a PR blow on a brand that's already damaged. I don't think it's worth it to them to take another Blizzard L on a game that they are desperately trying to get a W out of. Like, I don't know how you feel about that, but it feels to me like they really want to get some of their reputation back. And if they start selling shit, like they're going to fuck the pooch.
Yeah. I agree with you, but I think them milking their bag is going to be getting 2 expansions, because during the last developer stream, they did say expansions with an S. They said plural. So I think we're going to get 2 different expansions at $20, $30, $40 a piece. And yeah, they already made like over 800 million in revenue. I think Diablo 4 already made more revenue than Diablo Immortal, or it's at least close.
Yeah. In the West, I think the East is a different conversation, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But I think, they released 2 more expansion packs, and they're going to make another like 250 million off each one of those. So I think that'll be probably the route. And I agree with you. They'll only sell like cosmetics.
Go on.
Well, I wanted to extend onto that. I think the acquisition by Microsoft is going to change the philosophy. Like we're used to like Activision's way of being profitable is like always going for the bag like that. Whereas Microsoft is about market dominance. So them getting acquired there, I think they could be going for building that reputation, like you're saying, like because they can fund it. They don't have to worry about the bottom line because they're multi-trillion-dollar company and they're profitable in other areas of that business. So them being able to do that, it's like let's just really double down on Blizzard being an S-tier company, and they don't need to do these bad PR things like they were doing with Activision Blizzard beforehand. Potentially, I don't know how fast those decisions would make if it actually makes an impact there, because I don't know how slow this process is going to be from the legal side of it. But I think that could be if we start to see real changes in Blizzard's strategy, it could be because of that.
Well, I kind of agree with Brad's point, chosen here. I think that they're going to make their bag off expansions and classic cells, and Battle Pass is the in between. So they milk it with Battle Pass cosmetics. And, they have the shop. They have microtransactions already in the store. You can buy cosmetics all day. They're going to make new cosmetics, and they'll probably like power creep the cosmetics where the cosmetics later on will look better. Like they probably started with I mean, I think personally the shop skins look pretty much bad. I think the wardrobe looks better. Okay. However, I think as time goes on, they are going to make. I think it's purposefully that they didn't make the cosmetics look so good because they didn't want to have another PR issue. I think they're very aware of their bad PR. So I don't think they wanted the game to launch and be like, look, the only good-looking thing in the game is the shop. And then, I mean, that's why in the dev live stream, one of the first ones we showed is they showed the in-game ones and they showed the shop ones because they were trying to get the message across, like, you can have good-looking skins. And I think they'll move that goalpost on us. I think they're going to make the cosmetics look way better with the paid cosmetics. I think they're going to do that. But I think they started with trying to grab some of their PR back by trying not to do that. And then they're going to make their money off the expansions and the battle pass would be my guess. If they start selling stash tabs, I think it is a very stupid thing to do. I think it's stupid from a PR standpoint. And I think they'll get flamed for it. And I think it's not worth the reputational hit in a game that is $70 base price. I just think it would be stupid.
All right. Maybe hot take here, but I think it's funny because there's always this conversation like, oh, well, what about Blizzard in the past? Or what about this? Or what about this? It's like you guys are on copium that they're not going to do it. I would argue it's the opposite. You guys are on, what is the opposite? Like instead of copium, like you're being aggressive. Like, I don't know. You guys are so like reverse copium to like, yeah, you're guaranteed to get stash tabs despite all the evidence to support that Diablo 4 is not going to be that way. Like what have they done to ever make it seem like they're going to make this a pay to win game or like justify it in some way? Like everything that I've seen from them. And, I mean, we've talked to like Adam a lot. We've seen him on Twitter a lot. Like anything that he said, which one of them was saying basically like this wasn't intentional. And like you could say like, oh, well, they're going to argue that it's not pay to win. Like that's like it's a very cynical perspective when everything that we've seen from Diablo 4 has been the opposite. Which is
there's been one pay to win edition in the game, if we're being fair, and you know what it is, right? It's early access, which I mean, basically every game's got that now. You spend more money, you pay, you get in earlier. I think that's pretty much pay to win in my opinion, but not in the kind of traditional sense. But yeah, you go. And you were gonna say something.
Oh no, I'm good.
Oh, I thought you were gonna.
I agree. It's like I think. But to your point, Veiled, when it comes to that, and also I agree with everything that you guys were saying when it comes to this. I was just extending and adding on to that point about what they're doing. They're going to be monetizing it with expansions because I think that goes over way better. I think it's going to be unfortunate if they monetize it with expansions and then add more stashed stuff to that. Like I think that would be like an indirect way of pay to win. I don't know if they're going to be doing that. It's like, like they have a new expansion and then they redefine the stash and make it way better. Isn't that kind of paid stash tabs with extra steps?
If it's tied to an expansion or something, yeah.
Sure.
If it's tied to that or tied to a battle pass, or if they add stash tabs onto a battle pass, only the premium tier, then then we got screwed. Right. To counter the point where people are like, oh, it's not pay to win for early access. Sure, but the only competition at the start that was official from Blizzard was the first level 100s, right? So getting, 4 days early access probably helps you hit level 100 sooner, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. I would say I agree with that take. Like in a vacuum, I don't think it's pay to win, but the fact that they have the competition, like to me, like if there was no competition, then I would just say like, oh, wouldn't it be pay to win regardless on any game?
There was the hardcore competition though.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in a vacuum, it's not. But because they had that specific competition for those 1,000 players that got in early, arguably you could say it's pay to win. Although I will say, like, they only had like 300 people make it to 100 by the time like the first week and a half ended, which is kind of surprising. So I don't know how much it really affected anything.
It takes a long time to grind to 100. Everyone was being super careful, and a lot of people died.
Yeah,
a lot of people died.
I was surprised too on how long it took to get the 1,000. I thought I was just like out of the shot almost instantly. I just assumed everyone would be able to do it pretty quick. But but there's network issues, and plus it's just legitimately a hard thing to do, and not many people have the time to do it. So makes sense. I have a question for you guys. Okay, so it sounds like we agreed that they're not going to be selling them. Okay,
I wouldn't think so.
how are they going to implement getting more storage? Because I refuse to believe they intentionally designed the stash the way it is now without some kind of add-on in the future. Like, there's no way that this was a legit, like, we did it. This is our storage for this game. We nailed it. We're not going to sell anything. Like, there's some catch here. So how are they going to implement more storage?
I think that you guys hit the nail on the head. I think you're just going to add it in an expansion, essentially. Maybe that's like too long in the future, but my guess is that they would put it in an expansion.
I think they missed it. I think they choked on the storage and it was a fuck up, and that they're going to add more storage. I'm saying they might add it to the expansion if they want to make more money, but I legitimately think it was like a oopsie daisy. Like, I think that it was a quality control problem. They probably didn't test it enough, didn't realize that people that are blasting really hard are going to hit storage way too soon. And they're like, oops, we fucked the pooch on this one. And why it's going to take them so long to do it, why it takes seasons or something long to do it, I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe they're trying to attach it to something that could be, but I think they just fucked up.
I have a question. I don't know the answer. I'm sure someone in chat does or something. Because like for anybody that's ever made a game, is there a possibility that it's a problem to give more storage space? Like it'll put stress on the servers because it's more information they have to store from 50 million players that are storing twice as many stash tabs. Does that stress the server at all, or is that like a meme? Is that nothing?
That's a meme.
I think, yeah. I don't know. I like you guys. We've seen PoE. You could buy more stash tabs than that. Has anyone played like any MMO possible? Like MMOs have way more storage and strain on everything than anything close to what Diablo 4 is going to have. Yeah. Like if anyone's played like RuneScape, you have like 800 bank slots with every single character. Most people have like multiple characters. Like they're storing all that information. I don't see this ever like. You could say, oh, well, maybe they're struggling. I would just think that that's like a failure. Like even if they are struggling and they're saying like, yeah, it's not possible. And from a server side, I would say, well, that's just bad development on like the hardware portion, perhaps. Yeah.
There's no real excuse for it. I mean, I can't give them any excuse for it because it's like, it's storage, son. Like this should be like a hot fix. You know what I mean? I
agree with you. I'm just trying to cover all bases and think outside the box. But absolutely,
I want to talk to a dev and be like, because there's been multiple games that are gear based that have had this issue. Like Destiny's one. This is one. At the time, both were owned by the same company.
Sure, but
maybe they have like three servers.
But my problem is, okay, let's say it is a server issue. It's like, well, then fix your goddamn server issue. You marketed this game as the biggest marketed game of all fucking time. You knew 1 million people were going to have it and made the most revenue of all time. I don't care what the problem is. Like, I'm not the person making the game. Revenue. That's great. Yeah. I'm happy for them with all their money and they can cry themselves to sleep with it. But like, it's not my problem how to build their game. I'm just trying to play it, and I'm telling them they need more stash. And I don't really care what the problem is. If it takes 2 or 3 seasons to get stash tabs, it's like, Jesus Christ, like, what are we doing? I do what needs to happen to have more stash. I don't actually understand like how it can possibly take forever to have it done.
So you double it, and it still sucks.
Here's a take.
When you can double something,
Here's a take. Maybe it's not a problem. It's just a feature.
That's my point.
That's what I say. To build off what you mentioned earlier is like when you mentioned Destiny. I've never played Destiny, but like maybe it's just like a feature. Like that's how they want it to be. Like they want you to be limited. I don't think it's a good feature if it is, but I think maybe Kire, might be onto something here.
Well, I think. I wasn't thinking because I feel like that's a separate thing where it's like they're limiting it, kind of like how League. It's like you have 4 buttons. They just want 4 buttons. That's it for the skills, and they kind of design the game there. I would say that's a pretty bad version of the feature portion of that because the second you implement another character or another class, if that was a feature, it should be a smaller storage but individual storage for every character. But in this, I think it's more of a design feature for them to build more functionality, whether it be them selling it separately in a battle pass, or at the end of the battle pass you actually get it, or they just outright sell it.
Do you think
it's
900 IQ? You think it's a 900 IQ play?
I think it's even better.
Bad. It's so bad that there's no way that was. I just think they're, yes, there's a lot of things that they do bad, but they're too smart to just fumble this badly. You could fumble badly, but not this badly.
But are they too smart? Here's my problem. So then, where's the 900 IQ play for the fact the resistances suck?
I'll tell you. I don't have one for the resistances.
No,
but I was gonna say
you can't monetize resistances. You can monetize stash tabs.
Yeah, but who's the people they've lost in the last 10 years? The Diablo 2 tryhards. And what did Diablo 2 tryhards do? They like to mule. So they're bringing that to Diablo 4. You're going to mule, you're going to create extra characters for more stash space, and it makes it like Diablo 2.
But how's that transition into audience retention? That would just piss people off and make them leave, though.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
All right.
There is no excuse.
I was trying to take your play seriously. I'm like, all right, let me try to understand. Because I don't get the play. The only way it makes sense if it's on purpose is if they purposely sell stash tabs or they attach it to Battle Pass, like Premium Accelerated Battle Pass or something. Or they attach it to the free Battle Pass, but it's at the end of the free Battle Pass, but you can pay to skip the tier there anyway. So then they monetize, they can say it's not, pay for storage because you can get it free, but, everyone in the beginning of the season is going to pay this skip to get to the fucking stash tab anyway. So there's a million ways they could do it, I guess, and still have, technically... it's free.
I would believe that. I would believe that.
Convenience. Yeah, if they don't define convenience as pay to win, then they could just be like, oh, well, it's not. So I don't know if anyone's outright asked them, is pay for convenience also pay to win? Because they say no pay to win, but there's a gray area on where the definition of pay to win lands, and I don't think anyone's ever asked them that. So we have confirmation there. Right. And also, this might be a doomer take here, but I feel like them acknowledging that stash is an issue is them realizing they missed the mark on it being too restrictive and it's too much of a pushback and it looks too obvious that it's terrible. So they have to at least say something and still have all the same opinion.
Bella's got something. He's dying. He's chomping at the bit here in the Horsing Around podcast.
I got a meta question for you all. Do you actually think making a better game gives them like a better option towards like profitability and like longevity? Or is the fact that people get mad or really enjoy a game like opposite actually drive up more like hype about the game because there's so much conversation and so much argumentation about it? Because I actually could see a point towards the latter.
Okay, so my point is I think it's proven time and time again that people pay at the point of frustration. So the most perfect argument towards stash tabs will be solved is it is probably one of the most frustrating parts of the game. We know this because we've played mobile games for years, and the market for mobile games is frustrate people until they spend money. That's literally the design of the mobile games. That's why they're so like predatory by nature, whatever you want to call them. So for that same reason, that's the argument I could see Kire making, where it's a 900 IQ. You frustrate them, and then you sell the solution to your frustration. Oh, it's not pay to win because it's inconvenience. We are, again, we're theory crafting here. It's not like anyone actually knows, but I will be mildly pissed off if it's a flat fee game and we have a battle pass and we have to buy stash tabs. I'll be honest. I'll be kind of annoyed.
Yeah, it'd be complete trash. I think a lot of gamers overemphasize negative press as actually impacting the bottom line. How many boycotts has there been, and then the game still sells well? It at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. And also, another potentially negative take on this would be they've already gotten all of our money. They've made a shitload of money, and then they sell stash tabs on top of it. Like, it's a sunk cost. It's not like we can refund. They already got the money.
Ooh, fuck, you're right. I don't like that, though. I don't like that, but you're right.
Yeah. And then, okay, so you piss off 10%. Okay. What percent? It's all free money. It's money they would have never made anyway. And the bad press doesn't reflect, because then also the percentage of people that buy a game after the beginning is very low. So you just piss off 50%. Let's say you piss off 50%. There's going to be a ton of people that are pissed and still pressing buy. So
I don't like that. I don't like how much sense that makes. Like, I don't like how on the nail you are with that one, to be honest.
He's saying what we all don't want to hear. Stop it.
Yeah,
it's true, but it would. It would body them from any future thing if it was that blatant of a thing. The Diablo expansion, they wouldn't even be able to talk about it without getting ratioed. It'd be like, no, you did this. Like, screw you. I mean, I'm with Darth's original point. I just don't think it's worth it. Your Kyre's right. They would make money. I don't know if it's worth the hit though.
True, but they did it more though. And D4 is the largest selling game they've ever done right after.
Yeah.
Here's
goes to my
another
point
question.
on like. Sorry, I just want to get this out and then you go. But like, it goes to the point on like how people's outrage doesn't matter to the money aspect. You could be pissed and they still make a ton of money. Immortal ran into D4 best-selling game.
What were we gonna say, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, on the back of that, is the negative press going to be as big as we think? Because there are a lot of people in like PoE, which is like what some of the most popular like press, like Zizarin and like these types of guys. They push a lot of like the press out in terms of how much they're bashing on pay to win and stuff. But like oftentimes, I've seen a lot of people claim that they're okay with stash tabs in PoE. So it's like they're going to have some sort of like, you know, I don't know, either they have to agree that, oh, Diablo 4 is fine. Like, yeah, they added stash tabs. Like, yeah, I'm not a fan of it, but it's like, it's okay because, you know, they've already had it in like PoE.
Yeah, but
or is it going to be like a huge...
But
I don't know if it'll be as big of a backlash.
I think it's different also because it's like the thing with PoE is they'll say they want to support the game because they like the game and it's free and this is their way of supporting. Like it's that type of thing. It's like when someone gives you a couple of subs on your Twitch live stream because they're watching the entertainment for free. Like it's not like I think they can get away with it in those games. But if PoE was a $70 game, totally different. I don't think people would.
And PoE is a smaller dev, not a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
With good PR, I would say Path of Exile has like some of the best PR from like everyone jerks off how Path of Exile is. Whereas like Blizzard is like in the dumpster in terms of public relations for like a long ass time and seems to be digging out. So also to your point about like, is the feedback worth it? I don't think YouTube videos matter that much. I'm going to be honest. I don't think we touch their bottom line at all. I think we have our own little content we talk about and people watch our stuff and, you know, we do our own views, which maybe affects our bottom line, but I sure as fuck, I don't think any of it, like we could all go out there and blast them all day long. And I think they just, meh. You know, we're flies on this.
Yeah, we learned that. We learned that DM
that
on previous games.
Yeah, it's like an impact, but not. I would say you don't move the needle that much, but you move the needle. I think you definitely move the needle.
Yeah, I would say I would say it's disingenuous. Not to say that this is what you guys said, but like if I were to say like, yeah, I don't affect anything, or I don't think that's true. But I think the numbers are so significantly small that it doesn't matter. However, as they say, the power is in numbers. If we actually manage, which is not possible, but every single person on YouTube to agree on one thing and push that, I think that it's very easily able to be able to change something or to potentially like, move the, I guess you could say the development time or potentially like actually affect their profits. But you would have to have everyone on the same page doing the same thing. It's not possible. Not ever possible.
Kire pulling out the energy drink to keep his energy high.
Deal reserve number 2 for Kire Mobile.
My energy is pay to win.
True. I can't stay up awake as much as he can because I can't afford the energy drinks. It's fact.
Yeah.
No performance enhancing drug.
Inherent grinding advantage
for our competition.
Yeah. Kire's taking PEDs over there from Diablo 4.
We're gonna need to make it where Kire can't have white monsters for the hardcore solo stuff.
You already give me Barb and no white monsters. I'm screwed. I'm gonna go to bed at like 7 p.m. after my warm milk.
All right, what do you guys think about taking some Q&As from the chat? What do you think about that, huh? You want to start pulling?
Well, let's do it. Let's do it.
I feel like this is just stalling the only up.
It's stalling because Kire's going to go only down. I'm going to go
I'm
only
hungry.
up. I got to pee.
It's like I'd rather not DoorDash.
All right, guys, give us questions, preferably about how DM is Sansa. I saw that earlier. I thought that was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, we can be honest. DM is gone now, so the floor is open. All the hot takes direct into Veiled.
Yeah, look at all this trust he's giving us.
Yeah.
If I pay a game, I'm not paying for features. PoE is fine with microtransactions because stash. See, okay, so I get the perspective, but at the same time, like to say that it's just a quality of life improvement also would be disingenuous. Like I do think it's pay to win in PoE, and I think it'd be pay to win in this game. Period. Like Doesn't matter. I'd be okay with it because, as you said, PoE is free to play, but it doesn't make it not pay to win.
Yep. Who has the best cat? I mean, come on. Is this a question here? But I think DM's the only other one, right? With a cat.
Yeah. Do you have a cat, Veiledshot?
Ooh, no, I don't. I have two dogs.
We're catless.
Do you think 1-man to 4-man raids would be a great addition to the game? All right, see, I'm biased because I'm a huge MMO enjoyer, and I would love it. I think it'd be super fun to like have like those raid style content where you're grouping up with your friends, but like have a world boss, but almost like designed for 4 people. And actually have like the raid mechanics. I don't know. I love that, but you know.
All right, check this out. You ready for this? You ready for me to change the way world bosses, suddenly everyone cares about them? So you rip off RuneScape. When you kill a world boss, you have a 0.3% chance that it drops a miniature version of them that runs around and picks up your gold. So you kill Wandering Death, you have a tiny little Wandering Death pet now. At your less than 1% chance to get it. So you're farming the world boss, hoping you get it, and then you just walk around and now you have the one, and people are like, oh, fuck this guy. He's got the Wandering Death, or he's got the Avarice, or whatever. You know what I mean? Instead of this stupid little horse bullshit that no one cares about anyway.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. But also that might spark another discussion where it's like Uber, like Uber rares are already a big problem with like the more dedicated community. Like everyone's complaining about them. Like it's one of the biggest complaints in terms of gear and itemization. And I think that if you have like a really small chance like RuneScape, whereas like the bosses only spawn like every once in a while, like I think you could have like a really
I think the big
really
difference
big
is
backlash.
One of those is actually a chance, and one of them is just a fucking meme.
Yeah, Uber rares are like not even
versus
in the game.
One in like I saw a thing made a compelling case. I don't know how true this is, but it's 1 in 32 billion, like to get one, and which is fucking absurd. Even if you made it half that, fucking absurd. Like the Powerball's 1 in 300 million. Like it's absolutely hilarious. So he's theorizing that it's actually a bug that even the ones that did drop. So
it's probably because it's going to get a lot better with like World Tier 5 and stuff, and that'll be like the lure.
I completely agree with that. We're on like a tier below where they're going to upgrade it to, because it's like, and I think that is a good call there for sure.
That's right. We should just make Diablo 4 RuneScape. I agree with the chat. Just make it the same game. That'd be great.
Can we add woodcutting into Diablo 4, please? Like the Arsenal system from the Barbarians. You just have woodcutting, mining, and all that.
Can you fish in RuneScape?
Oh yeah. Baby.
Yeah. There you go.
I would want to refund my $70.
Yeah, we go fish, and then we pick up the herbs. It levels up our herb lore level. We go to the alchemy, make potions. Boom, leveling up that too. I mean, come on, we basically have the whole game here.
Okay, I'm okay with that if we just turn the Barbarian to Master Chief. And we go.
There we go.
Just implement our favorite games into Diablo, and it's all good.
Can we get a final destination from Super Smash Bros. Level into Diablo 4, please?
Well, that's where we need a 1v1 our hardcore characters at the end. We settle it in Smash. We bring it out and settle it in Smash. There we go.
Dude, duels would actually be fire, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Right back 1 second.
Hardcore duels, like level 100 hardcore duels, would be fucking money content. People would love those.
Ooh, like a gladiator arena? 2-man enter, 1-man leave?
But like you actually, it's 1 man leaves. 1 man's character is gone. And then I think it would be a sick flex to like your deaths. It tells where you died. It's like you died fighting Lilith or whatever. It would say you died there. That's cool.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine like doing that now? Like you roll up, like let's say I'm a rogue, you're a necro, like you're cross map one-shotting me with a bone spear, like that's the end of the duel. It's 5 seconds long. Boom, dead. Like I don't know.
Outskilled. That was good. Got him. Should have picked a better class.
You just dodge the spear. You gotta dive, duck.
Kind of like cold epics. Just dodge it.
Yeah, that's right. People would scroll of escape out of there. See you later. You have to burn all their scroll of escapes before.
Because then you could go on a tear and be like, how many kills did you get on your hardcore in the gladiator arena before you died? You know what I mean?
Legitimately sick.
Have a leaderboard with it too, where it's like the people that get the most kills show on the leaderboard, and you can like go to the arena and click on it and see the leaderboard.
Wait, that would be the way. You come in with the rogue, you You sit there, you poison the enemy, you get one shot, they die to the poison, and then you're both on the board. Like,
Yeah. Tied. That would be funny. One kill. Then
right.
it would be just hit 50 and hit PvP.
All right, let's wrap it up with some Q&A, yeah? Let's get a few. Let's get some Q&A in the chat. Personal stuff only, non-gaming, and mostly targeted at Veiledshot. The more personal, the better that we can get. Just kidding. So let's get some gaming.
What hair product do I use?
What hair product? Name it. Mother's maiden name, social security number, credit card expiration date, and any other.
I was laughing because that's exactly what I said when you were AFK.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, direct all the controversial questions at Veiled. We'll be taking Q&A.
Oh, man, why is Veiled taking so many random shots this stream, then?
We found his niche.
I'm gonna pull an Arnold, guys, and I'm gonna start recording my videos separately, get a better camera, and like start standing up, moving around, dress up as Jon Snow, and we're rebranding.
I actually think that would unironically work. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I'm not joking though. I'm actually not joking.
I think it would actually work.
I'm in the process of doing it. I'm not joking.
Oh shit! All right.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's actually kind of hype. I'm not gonna lie. What do you guys think about Veiledshot rebranding to Jon Snow Games, and he goes faux cosplay with his content? I think this is
that legal?
Yeah.
That's absolutely legal.
Uh-huh. Could you be someone else's IP?
Yeah, it's called cosplay. I mean, people have been doing that shit for money for a long fucking time.
Then obviously, heck yeah, dub. Gotta do it.
Beyond the Wall Gaming. I like
that.
Beyond
the Wall Gaming is amazing name.
Yo, I love that. Beyond the Wall.
That's so good.
That's so sick. That's so sick.
Oh, damn. Oh, dude, you have a lot of ways you can go with this.
There's so many. Yeah.
All right. Just needs to hit the gym and he can do it. This is a hot one. I've been going to the gym for like 6 months consistently. For
good for you,
4
bro.
or 5 days a week.
Oh yeah, get those
good
games,
for you.
Bro.
You never know it. Everyone who goes to the gym, you'd be like, oh, like, who cares? Like, unless you're taking like PEDs, as I said.
Yeah, well,
like Kire over here with his White Claws.
You get jacked. You get massive.
I've been doing the athletic greens now for about a week, and I feel like so here's the thing about the human condition. If you put vegetables in your body, you feel better. I'm not sure how many of you gamers have tried this yet, but I just tried. I'm at 32.
Whoa, hot take.
I know.
Warning.
32, I've started ingesting vegetables, and I feel surprisingly more energetic. I wouldn't have seen that coming.
So next hot take is going to be actually getting sleep makes you feel better too.
What about more spread on aspects? Uniques, 100 levels, no shockwave aspect. Yeah, let's talk about drop rates for a second. I feel like some of the like exposed flesh for the Necromancer, for instance, it's like I got my first one in 96. So
I think there should be like a better way of target farming. It's weird that they have some kind of like pseudo target farm in the game and then not explained, took a weird spreadsheet to find it, and you got stuff like this where uniques actually matter. As a barb, it's weird because all of my uniques are dog shit. So it's strange to see like another class really want to target uniques. And I think that's a big problem. Like that's just a big feels bad.
It's not even a unique though. I mean, I know what you're saying. I agree with you, but like like there are some just normal legendary aspects that are way rarer than others.
Oh yeah.
For like no reason.
So, yeah. I think that's like a bug. Yeah.
Here's an interesting idea. And I think, maybe hardcore players are like, this is trash. But I think like in order to really appeal to like the majority of the player base, they make every aspect you cannot get a duplicate of until you've gone through and gone every aspect /unique in the game. So like, let's say you drop a unique, you drop, let's say you're the rogue, you drop your pants that give you the trap aspect. And then the next one, you're going to get your gloves. You can't get your pants until you cycle one time around. And then after that, all of them become duplicatable. You just get them randomly at that point. So grinding to the max rolls, like it might take a little while, but like at least getting the builds online, it'll be like within reasonable amount of time.
I like that. I just get worried about that because the dopamine aspect of it is like a big part of it. It's like, but when it comes to that, like the logical thing doesn't normally make sense because you want to have that. Because like when you'll know in the back of your mind that you can't get something. And I think that removes that feeling of like, oh shit, this is a dope drop because you've lost the mystery there. Having that variance is a big deal.
kind of like this. How about they let us extract and printed aspects, but it takes on the lowest value, like from the codex. So you can re-extract and imprint, but then it just becomes like the basic version of it.
I like that. I think that's a good one because it deletes your gear piece too.
When playing hardcore,
see why not.
potentially grief your YouTube content if you die. Yeah, but that's why you just play it once until you die and then it's over. You get one video out of the clip and then you go back, you play softcore, you do your whatever. I think it's the other part of it too is I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like even if I gotta make YouTube videos, I still want to have fun. Like I really don't want to sit here and grind a game and be fucking miserable. So I don't want to play softcore druid come season 1 for like the 12th time I've played. Like I just don't want to do it. Like I want to. Is it odd that I also would like to enjoy my time playing the game?
I mean, another hot take. Right
I mean, as much as everyone, I mean, it's probably no one in this stream because like these people are much more like involved and want to actually watch the content. But you'll see on your YouTube comments like, oh, like you're running out of ideas, like here comes another video, or like oh, running out of money, dude, like you're making this clickbait video or whatever. It's like at some point, like you're just trying to have fun and just make videos that you enjoy. And despite like those types of comments, it's actually the complete opposite at a lot of times. It's like, no, actually, like I've actually been doing this for a while. And the ones that are like more in line with what you'd expect are actually the ones that more often than not are the ones for the YouTube. And the ones that are more silly, more out there, or whatever, are the ones just for more fun. And so, there comes a point where you kind of just have to at least have some fun. Otherwise, you're working a 9 to 5,
8 Myers says, Chosen looks like he wants to punch all three of you. He was
true.
Sitting there with an angry face.
Vibes.
That's right. No, I was thinking, and somebody also asked if
thinking about punching all three of us. Is what he was
that's
thinking
right.
about.
If we're gonna get another class, we will absolutely get another class. They've done it in every Diablo game. Like in Diablo 2, they added the druid and the assassin, and then in Diablo 3, they added the necromancer. Even in Diablo 1, there was classes that were added in, like the monk and the bard, even back in the 90s. So for Diablo 4, they will definitely add, and the one they're gonna add first is probably gonna be the holy class, either a Templar or a Crusader or a Paladin. That'll probably be the first one they add within like a year and a half or so.
That's so far away.
Question.
Shaman, yeah.
When do you guys think we get a new class?
I mean,
I'm going to go on record. Kyra, should we do another bet? Should we do another closest to bet for 5 subs?
I think you should.
I don't want to.
Let's do it.
Well, I mean, I think you're
You
dead
go first.
on. You mean it was like, I think it sounds like a long ways away, but that makes sense.
Oh, but Kyra, he shot first, which means you get to say like
Shot first?
1 year in a day or something.
366 days.
No, I'm not on record. I'm not on record yet.
On, Brad.
No,
I'm not on record
there
yet.
it
I didn't
is.
do a guess.
The goated strategy. You better be exact with your
Okay, so
time.
I'll go.
$1,
I'll tell you when the next class is coming. November of 2024.
All right.
That's so
Let me
far
hit
away.
you guys with some facts on how this is actually. I don't know. I'm not going to predict the time, but I'll predict how it's going to happen. Okay. So you have spoilers for the storyline, by the way. You have Mayrel running away with Mephisto. Mephisto was in the basement of Zakarum, which is part of the holy class, right? So the next expansion is going to have us chase down Mephisto. It's going to go back to like the temple of Zakarum, and we're going to find the new class within that expansion. It's going to be a Crusader or a Paladin of Zakarum. That's what's going to happen. There's your lore-filled, fact-based argument on what we're going to get. And
doubling down on Chosen's prediction. I love that. You got the lore side of it. You got the date.
Mm-hmm.
The date is coming out.
Yeah. It'll definitely be the holy class, like the Templar, Paladin, Crusader. It'll be that class.
Like a guy that defected from that church of whatever, and
yeah, and I like Veiled's take on it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, well
new
then,
expansion.
Kyra, you take your shot. Everyone else is
Take my
taking their shot.
When did you say, Chosen?
It's in November of 2024, and he's probably like
November
a Templar or
plus
something.
1 day, whatever.
All right,
yeah,
you get
just
dumpster.
Sorry, what now? So I said November of 2024. Yep.
I just like theory crafting, like when they we're predicting. Who cares?
It's for the fun. No one actually cares, but yeah, it's for the fun of the talk.
Who cares? It's like even
I care because
I'll go June 17th, 2024. Lock it in.
All right, June 17th, 2024. It is locked in by Kire. If he's wrong, he has promised to gift 5,000 gift subs to Chosen. And
You
then
gotta do
Chosen,
more of these because I don't even have to stream. I just want to farm bets for gifted subs.
There you go.
I think it'll be 6/6/2024. There's mine.
Okay. All right, pretty nice.
I legitimately think this is a good title for a season by Nekaloot, like Exile of the Haradrim. That'd be such a sick, like, either title of a season or title of an expansion, and then you can like bring in that other class.
What do you think about the Season of the Malignant tie, though?
I think Malignant is just a bizarre. They really wanted to double down on Malignant, and it's just a weird word. It's like they looked up at a thesaurus.
Yeah.
I was like, what's another way to say this word?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, okay, there it is, Malignant.
Sorry.
Like, who talks like that?
Yeah,
Guys, the word has been ruined permanently from that dev stream because all Ross
Oh no!
talk about is a stupid malignant tunnel, which is his colonoscopy. Like I just could not. Like every single time I think of malignant, I think malignant tunnel. I think of his colonoscopy. It's over. It's totally ruined for
it's
me.
not even. It's not even that bad of advice, though.
It's a good joke.
It's like for middle-aged guy advice. It's probably not that bad, to be honest. Like that's one that would get you on the back end there. Yo, guys, ETV.
Gotta make sure we're all healthy gamers around here. You got to clean that out. Got to clean out those malignant tunnels, like in game and in real life. You know, like that kind of shit. When we're 50, we're gonna be like, he was onto something.
Make sure there's no caged hearts in there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see you guys.
Hey, if you guys got one, do you think it'd be an offensive power, defensive utility, or a?
I think it'd be offensive power because typically colonoscopy, you're looking for things that will kill you, which is an offensive ability more than a defensive ability. It's not like you're looking for a bonus immune system within the colon. Like, okay. You've got the extra immune system.
Can you imagine you got the one defensive? Like leave that in.
These viewers that rated it in have got to be like, what is this?
Sorry,
this is the worst time.
Welcome to the Horsing Around podcast. All
this
right,
conversation with no context is fantastic.
Let's do like 2 more good Q&As here. Throw a couple more in the chat, and we're gonna wrap up the pod here. We've been going about 2 hours, and then Kire Mobile is gonna get his ass kicked at Only Up. Is the next thing. We got a 1v1 competition going on. We're gonna see who can go up the onlyest. Meow meow.
Well, the prevention is a defensive ability. Ooh, he's right. Oof. All right.
Okay, hold on. Kitty's losing her mind. You guys answer the chat while I let Kitty cat out. Come on, Kitty.
Moose is right.
Someone memed on this earlier, but I think a Jon Snow outfit for the Druid or Barbarian would actually be pretty cool. So
yeah, I think for the Barb it'd be fire.
Is Sorcerer going to be OP in season 1? I don't think so, unless they drastically change the game, like how vulnerable works and stuff like that. Because the reason you see every build on Sorcerer having like 90% of the same skills is because everything has to revolve around Frost Nova. So unless they add vulnerable procs to other things the Sorcerer does, or they completely adjust how things are going to work, probably not.
Ooh,
I do think Sorcerer could be better though.
This guy, what is your prediction for the top class in season 1? I'm actually going to say the Rogue because unlike every other class, you're seeing Druids like destroy things, Necromancers one-shot things, Barb have continuously been nerfed, and I still think they will be nerfed. The only 2 classes that have kind of been like under the radar are Sorcerer and Rogue, but unlike Sorcerer, Rogue is actually good right now.
What are you talking about, Rogue under the radar?
Yeah.
In Endgame, no one's talking about how broken Rogue is in Endgame. No.
Well, yeah, there's no broken. They don't do 1 billion damage. So
I'm sorry they don't have a bug that one-shots fucking everything, but like, what Rogue's absolutely... All right.
That's my point, is that they're going to be the best class for season 1 because Blizzard's going to nerf all these other classes.
Take of the podcast. Rogue is under the radar.
The Rogue main thinks Rogue will be the best. Who would have seen it coming, boys?
Whoa. How is this even a hot take?
They're going to nerf all these other classes. They're going to nerf Necro and Druid to the ground with the changes because they're busted right now. And then Barbarian's going to rise up. And then Rogues, underrated. I think Rogue might be, but no one's going to notice it because, obviously the Rogues are kind of going under the radar there.
Now, memes aside, you are kind of right, though. Because, like, we had Barb that had the 85 billion damage or whatever Rob's latest build is. And then we have the Bulwark Druid that's just like, obviously, you probably shouldn't do more damage the stronger the enemies are. And then you have the 1.8 billion damage Shred that Moxie was showing. So there's like already problems with the Druid. And then Necro Bone Spear, everyone considers to be disgusting, which is going to get nerfed. And then everyone, Sorcerer just gets memed on for being dog shit. So, I guess Rogue is kind of the one that no one's like, all right, maybe there's something to this hot take after all.
Yeah, I'm
getting DM
on board.
All right, I'm coming back. I'm coming around to it. All right, so last question, boys. Spam your one last question. We're going to cover one more here, and then we're going to move on to the next segment, which is going to be Kire getting a colonoscopy, a.k.a. getting absolutely slammed in 1v1 of Only Up. Is DM truly the greatest Only Up player? This question comes from Veiledshot. Yes. Actually, factual and true L plus ratio.
We're putting your belt on the line here in this Only Up. Like, you have all this experience, all this Only Up experience, and basically going in with 5 minutes of gameplay time. So, we're about to see if he's still the best.
All right.
Get his comment. Kire getting a middle of the tunnel.
Kire, yeah. That's going to be another video here soon. Yeah, my appointment is not scheduled yet, and I don't know if insurance covers it, but it's on the docket for content.
I love it. It's too much. I love it.
I'll tell my doctor. It's like, hey, can you wear this streamer backpack and interact with chat while I'm down?
Need the nurse to hold the camera. That's going to have to go on a different website. I think that one's not going to be.
No, I think hitting all the different websites is probably.
I think this is actually a good question, though. Does having legendaries mainly as their aspect vessels diminish their drop hype for players? And I'm going to say, absolutely. When I see a legendary, the only thing I look at is the aspect. If it's bad, instantly marked as junk. And
I don't like that.
Look at rares. Yeah.
Man, I have an opposite experience. When I get the drop, the first thing I look at is the stats because I'm trying to get we have a 50-50 split thing because the aspect I give a fuck about. I get so many legendaries that I have multiple perfect row aspects of multiple of the things I need. So what I'm trying to, unless it's like the rare one, like Exposed Flesh, Shockwave, Pulverize, etc. But the non-rare ones, I got a fuckload of. For me, I'm looking at the stats because it's like, did I get maximum essence on my ring? Did I get vulnerable damage? Did I get critical strike? Did I get critical strike chance, etc.? So that's for me. I have the opposite experience. Wait, how about you, Kire? You're the fourth one.
Well, and then same thing there. But then also, I kind of get more excited because then there's the roll range of that legendary aspect. I think that you look at that and then also the legendary part. But I guess it's kind of conflicting because I'm looking at the stats, and then if I get a good roll on the legendary aspect and good rolls on the stats, it's like a bad thing because I have to pick one. So they kind of fight against each other. But
true.
I care about stats of the gear way more than I care. The legendary aspects, unless it's Bold Chieftain's Loot, I don't give a shit. That's the only rare one. Everything else I just have plenty of.
That's kind of my point is like, you only care about the stats. And if you're looking at the legendary and you're looking at the stats, I'm less excited about that if that has good stats because reroll enchanting costs more. If it has a good aspect, I have to extract it, right? And if I want the aspect more than the stats. So it's like legendaries are inherently worse for me because I'd rather get a rare with good stats because it's going to be cheaper to enchant. It's going to be cheaper to upgrade and I don't have to potentially sacrifice it for the aspect. And on top of that, it's much rarer to get a legendary that's good stats compared to a rare because rares drop way more frequently. So
I'd almost prefer it that the legendary and aspects weren't tied to an item. You would just drop aspects and they had a better way of being able to hold them. So and then you could just look at it and okay, skip that whole portion, drop more rares, and that would be more exciting because we look at legendaries, it's basically, unless it's a good rolled piece of gear, it's actually objectively worse because when you try to re-roll, like you're saying, for that fourth aspect, it's just going to cost way more gold.
And Brad, do you have a point you want to chip in on this or before we wrap up here?
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree with Vale a little bit. I miss the dopamine of dude, look, guys, I got a primal Yang's recurve. Holy cow, I got a primal wind force. There's never that. Ooh, it's a two-handed crossbow. This might be my wind force. It's just you're looking for stats and aspects. And I think that misses, and the way Blizzard addressed that was by having the super uniques of having like the Shaco and that type of stuff. But I think it's too much of a gap there. I think those things are too rare, and then the other things are way too common. And just hunting for stats and roll ranges doesn't feel as good to me personally. And maybe people disagree, and that's fine. But I do miss a little bit of that like specific name loot chase.
It's obviously too rare because not a single build planner or anything out there will put any of them in there. Like if it was actually acquirable, someone would have like a somewhat of a min-max build player. Like, look, this is a hard one, but when you get it, then like no one even bothers because they
really
know
don't
you
like
can.
that. I don't like, even if it gets to that point, I don't like that because it's like, okay, here's this build, but you need grandfather to make it work. Like that's such a bummer. Like, okay, unless there's target farming, some way to like kind of give me some copium that I can eventually get it. It's just, it would be such a bummer to have that such a limiting aspect there, especially for the majority of the player base that don't play enough to like realistically get it. We're already seeing Tempest War being such a talking point already. Imagine that for multiple other things.
Well, and that's why I liked how Diablo 3 did it, where the base level of stuff was very easy to get. But then finding the ancient version and the primal version was a grind if you wanted your build to stand out. But like you said, if you need that one, you need the grandfather to make it work. You can find the grandfather within a day or two, but it's finding the primal one that is the real grind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's probably...
It's a tough topic because I think there's pros and cons to both sides of it. Because it's
exactly.
I look at that, and then you lose the dopamine, you lose the injection of like, here's massive power. What you're getting is you're getting that same thing, but the primal version, which is just exactly the same build, but now more damage. So it's like it's not that exciting.
You know
so it's
how
like some kind of middle ground there.
You know how I fix uniques? You make it where you can still enchant them. So it's like you get a unique. Yeah, it has the guaranteed 4-row, but then you can enchant one of them. You know what I mean? Like, would that really break the game so much? Because some of the uniques are like their fourth one is here's thorns or something. And like I think Barbarian's got chestplate that's good, but then its fourth one is thorns. And it's like, why?
The aspects are just completely like a lot of the aspects are. It's like they don't even play the build that they're trying to build with the unique. It's like they made the unique and then a whole nother team make the 4 aspects because sometimes it's like unbelievably worse than the best thing that you can get on a normal rare when you have all the aspects correct. I think they suffer from a marketing issue. They're trying to make them better than rares and legendaries when they should be like their own unique or separate tier that is not supposed to be better or build defining. It's supposed to be a thing that you can get and it's an injection of power. And then the real best thing is going to be a best in slot legendary with 4 affixes you really want to have.
I agree. The rogue trap pants are actively making the build worse. Like it's not like, it's like, it's not as good. It's like, I'd rather have a rare item on there instead of the unique.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's probably a good way to wrap it up for the podcast today, my dudes. It's a 2-hour podcast. And now we're going to go into, me and Kire are going to 1v1 because I owe the chat a only up finale. And so the big hype content now is I'm going to get this game ready and launched. And Kire, I'm assuming you're doing the same. And we are going to race for that. But on the way out, before we get going with that, this is Chosen. Chosen, why don't you put your YouTube in the chat so that way you guys can follow him if you want. This has been Veiledshot. Same with you, Veld. Link anything you want to link. And then Kire, same deal. Link your stuff in the chat as well so you guys can go subscribe to them as well. And I think that we're all back on track to be able to do this, once a week, once every other week, maybe. So we'll try to do these probably right around the same time of the week as we're doing it now, I would assume. So any last points or anything you want to throw in here, boys, before we wrap it up for the night?
I think
nope.
I'm good. What do you guys? You guys got anything
good to see all of you, and excited for season 1. And we'll chat privately and see if we can work out this challenge you talked me into.
Yeah, W in chat if you think a hardcore solo challenge between the 4 of us would be pretty fun because that's kind of what it sounds like we're debating on doing here. So, and we'll probably post this to YouTube or something. I'll upload this so everyone can do whatever they want with it.
And Chosen's so enthusiastic about it that it's going to be hard to stop him.
I like this guy. He says winner is coming, but he has like the W dash enter is coming.
Yo.
The winner is coming, boys.
Geez.
It's going to be Veiledshot on Rogue. Hate to spoil it for you.
Yeah, so to be
Yeah.
at Beyond the Wall Gaming. And I'll see you all there.
That's such a good name.
Okay,
though.
but hey, before we close it out, let's do a poll on who's gonna die first.
Oh, I like
Who do
that.
we predict?
All
Who do we
right.
predict?
All right, we'll do a poll here. Who dies first in challenge? Veld, Kire, Chosen, or DM? You got 1 minute.
Is this toxic? I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna vote, but
I'm voting Kire dies first.
No, I totally voted
Wait a
you died
second.
first.
I knew you were gonna vote on me, bro.
Wait, DM has 77% of the
no,
vote.
Yo, come on, bro.
Yeah,
What you
okay,
gotta
so
do
you
with
gotta
me?
take these polls with a grain of salt. You know, you can't always be so.
Everyone vote on Kire, vote on
Yeah.
Kire, vote on Kire. There we go.
Oh, I love that.
I actually think it's
shit.
gonna be
Love that.
DM. I actually think it's gonna be DM because he's
That's-
gonna be streaming while he's doing it. Which
Yeah, I actually think it's gonna
I
be
probably will
Darth.
too.
Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? You guys all think it's gonna be me?
Yeah.
What is this horse shit? No.
I mean,
You guys merely adopted hardcore.
And they-
I was
you know,
I was born in hardcore.
Ah,
I've
here
been
it
doing
goes.
this since 2008.
Whoa.
UNC softcore, you're already a
oh
man.
no, it's getting
Chosen's
close.
flaming us. Wait, Chosen, are you level 100 yet?
All right, everyone vote on Chosen.
Oh,
This is a different
Oh.
ball game, Veiled. This is a different ball game.
Dodge.
I've been training
Okay.
for this for 15 years.
DM got
15 years.
roasted.
I like how the years just get
56%
higher
of
and
the vote.
higher.
56%. We're deleting the delete poll. Delete poll. That one's gone. Deleted. It is gone.
It'll be
Never to be seen
17
again.
next time, Kyle.
Visual bug. Visual bug.
Visual bug. Yep, agreed. All right. Okay, boys, thanks for coming by. That is the end of the podcast. GG's.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Good luck, Kire. I'm rooting
Appreciate
for
all of
you.
you. Have a good one.